apakah keutamaan saya sekarang ialah kos sara hidup. Ya, walaupun ada yang positif umpamanya dengan kekuatan ringgit sekarang dan juga soal bursa saham yang lebih positif menunjuk keyakinan kepada pentadbiran kerajaan sekarang, tetapi saya masih merasa keutamaan itu harus terhadap kos sara hidup, harga barang yang mencekam dan menekan kehidupan rakyat.
Rising food prices from vegetables to roti canai have made headlines recently, prompting the government to institute measures such as export bans and prolonging the imposition of ceiling prices. In recent weeks, the price of vegetables and fish have increased by 4.5% and 3.8% respectively, while restaurant owners have warned that roti canai prices could rise to RM2.20 owing to higher prices of wheat, dal and cooking oil. The retail price of chicken has been capped at RM8.90 per kilogram, which farmers say is too low. The government has announced a new ceiling price of RM9.40 per kilogram effective July 1st.
Adakah kamu kos sara hidup kamu semakin hari semakin meningkat? Kan dulu pernah 1,000 cukup, tapi sekarang 1,500 cukup kan? Tidak cukup kan? Tidak cukup. So kalau dulu kamu 1,000 cukup kan? Dan sekarang sampai hari ini 1,500 memang tidak cukup kan? Kamu rasa lah kos sara hidup kamu semakin hari semakin meningkat kan? Macam dulu RM1,000 boleh, sekarang 1,500 memang tidak boleh kan? Tidak boleh hidup. Betul kan? Semakin hari semakin meningkat kan? Betul. Ayo. Thank you Uncle. Dulu RM1,000 cukup, sekarang 1,500 cukup kan?
Tak cukup sebab hidup meningkat.
Ya, kos sara hidup meningkat. Okay, ingat.
There is two factors of rising cost of living in Malaysia, which is slow wage growth and rising food prices. First is slow wage growth. According to the Salaries and Wages Survey Report 2021, the median monthly salaries and wages received by paid employees improved by 9.1%. Mean monthly salaries and wages rebound by 3.5% to register RM3,037. But in nominal terms, the Malaysian economy expanded by 4.3% compound annual growth rate between the years 2016 and 2021, but wages only grew by 2.4% over the same period. This caused the cost of living occupy more and more of one's income as the general price level keep on rising. And the second is rising food prices. The Consumer Price Index in April 2022 climbed by 2.3% to 125.9%. According to the Malaysian Department of Statistics, while food inflation grew by 4.1% in April 2022, which increased in 89.1% of food and beverage items. Food and other basic item prices, which have allegedly risen by 60%, are causing alarm since the consequences are being felt not just by B40 households, but also by persons in the middle income group, and for some B40 families have begun to practicing food rationing, which is something Malaysians should not be doing. As a result of the current scenario, some households may be forced to give up some of the food they have been enjoying for years.
The cost of living in Malaysia has been rising in recent years, and this can be a source of financial stress for many people. Therefore, the rising cost of living has brought the following effect to Malaysians. Firstly, the rising cost of living in Malaysia can indeed decrease purchasing powers, as it means that people have to spend more money on the same goods or services. People purchasing powers decreases and they have less money to spend on non-essential items, and they have to cut back on leisure activity or luxury goods. This can also lead to a decrease in consumption and demand for certain goods and services, which can negatively impact businesses and the economy as a whole. Based on analysis of CPI 2020, the purchasing power of Malaysia's household consumption declined by 16.7% over the past decade to 83.3%. Based on the graph from trading economy, we can observe that CPI in Malaysia is increasing. In Malaysia, the consumer price index measures changes in the prices paid by consumer for a basket of goods and services. If CPI is getting higher, the purchasing power of household consumption will decrease. Besides, the rising cost of living in Malaysia has slightly contributed to an increase in income inequality. For example, rising costs for housing, healthcare, education, and transportation. These rising costs can disproportionately affect lower income individuals and families. It can be difficult for low-income earners to keep up, especially if their wages do not increase at the same rate. Those with lower incomes will struggle more to afford necessity compared to those with higher income. As a result, this will lead to a widening of a gap between those with highest incomes and those with low incomes. Malaysia are categorized into three different income groups: T20, M40, and B40. According to data from Department of Statistics Malaysia, a majority of households experience a decline in income, whereby many households from highest income themselves shifted to lower income groups. In 2020, there was an additional of 12.5% of households with income less than 2,500 ringgit. Meanwhile, 12.8% of households in the T20 group has shifted to the N40 group. 20% of households from the N40 groups have moved to the B40 groups.
We have three methods to solve the high living cost. First is income tax cut, and second, giving subsidy, and the third is reduce the unnecessary overhead. Income tax cut. When the inflation occurs, income tax will be cut by the government, so the individual income will increase. The income tax that should be paid to the government decrease, so income to a person will increase. Cost living will be lower. In example, in Malaysia, in tabling budget 23,000 in Parliament on Friday, Finance Minister Tunku Dr. Suri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said for the taxable income range, RM 50,000 to RM 70,000, the rate will be reduced from 13% to 11%. Second, giving subsidy. Government will giving subsidy to a company or an individual. The subsidy help company to increase the product and help the individual reduce overhead pressure. Cost living will become lower. For example, Malaysian government provide fuel subsidy so that the fuel price also does not follow the market scams. So the last one for me is reduce unnecessary overhead. In order to face the high cost of living, individuals should reduce unnecessary overhead. This can help individuals to save a lot of money, like cut down on spending by not buying the luxury good, because luxury good is very expensive. So just cut down the spending on the luxury good.
Overall, the rising cost of living in Malaysia is a complex issue with no easy solutions. This issue is a significant concern for many citizens, as it has made it harder for them to afford essential goods and services. It is important for individuals and families to carefully budget and manage their expenses to cope with these rising costs.